everybody. I hope you're all well on this quiet Sunday morning, afternoon, depending on where you are. I woke up late because I worked until about 1 a.m. and then could not fall asleep. I appear to be in some kind of Instagram jail. I cannot open my DMs and cannot respond to any. So just in case you are wondering why I'm not responding to your messages. Okay, let's get into today's video. Have you ever taken a moment and wondered just exactly what we are being lied about? Well, I personally think if we should do that and really, honestly and truly analyze every darn little thing, we would likely be devastated and our worlds, or at least the world as we know it, would likely collapse. There are two things in particular which brought me on this train of thought. Number one is 3I Atlas, the interstellar object which is flying somewhere through our solar system at the moment. The second thing is the death of Charlie Kirk. As far as the interstellar object 3I Atlas goes, everyone was so hyped up about NASA's data and photographs supposedly captured by their high-rise camera and telescope near Mars. The reason for the delay in releasing the photographs was supposedly the government shutdown, which I hope and believe that many people knew was utter rubbish and a total lie. Many of the people there are academics and not full-time employees of the state. But never mind that, science should be independent of politics. Well, then the Chinese dropped great photographs and data, even of the time it was hidden behind the sun. They shared it all with everybody who wanted to look at it, and a few days later, suddenly NASA woke up, arranged a press conference, and promised to show the clearest photographs of 3I Atlas from the high-rise telescope. What a joke! Firstly, there are telescopic images from amateur astronomers taken from their backyards, which are better than what NASA produced. As for their data, oh hey, boys and girls, nothing to see here. It is just a plain old comet. Really, it is doing exactly what a comet is supposed to do. What a huge, bold-faced, embarrassing lie. Firstly, the so-called photographs they showed are ones we have seen before from the Hubble or Mars rover. I can't remember which, but it could be either or both. It is not from the high-rise telescope. The high-rise, in truth and in reality, did not get anything. It missed 3I Atlas. And how do I know that? Well, I just do, okay? Please, just don't worry about it. High-rise captured nothing, at least not 3I Atlas, and NASA is way too embarrassed to actually admit it. So, what did they do? They lied. Do you know that NASA's budget for the 2024 fiscal year was $25.4 billion with a B dollars, and for 2025, $45.10 billion with a B again dollars? For what? To lie? To talk shit? To treat the rest of the world like they think we are morons? Let me explain further. NASA says 3I is a plain old comet. But with all the learned people in the press conference, not one talked about, or really talked about, the 12 anomalies. So for those of you who are interested, let's quickly talk about it. The royals can wait for one day. Number one, the first thing, the most obvious, is its size. 3I Atlas is huge, much bigger than the two previous interstellar objects, Oumuamua and Borisov. At about 33 billion tons, it is definitely bigger than any comet we have ever seen or heard about before. Number two, it brightened faster and was far bluer than any known comet when it reached its closest approach to the Sun. Number three, its gas plume contains a high amount of carbon dioxide, but a very low percentage of water. And remember, NASA is not trying to tell us that it is a comet. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It also has a very low ratio of nickel to iron, at times nickel only and no iron. Something one only comes across in industrial processes and not in the natural environment. The jets coming off the object after it moved away from the Sun are perfectly straight, although 3I does rotate in a 16.16 hour rotation. This rotation, like say the water from a garden sprinkler, should have a wiggle, or at the very least a half spiral, if they were natural outflows of ice and dust like that of a comet. Number five, non-gravitational acceleration, which means that the gravity of other planets, including the Sun, should slow it down, but it doesn't, not as much as one would expect. Now, number six, if it was a comet, it would mean that its core would for all practical purposes be a giant compressed snowball, or then mainly ice. So when it reached perihelion, nearest position to the Sun, one would expect it to melt quite a bit, and as such lose at least the expected or predicted 13% of its mass. Yet it didn't. It maintained its integrity. The light from 3I Atlas shows extreme negative polarization, not seen in any comet before. And that was point number 7. Number 8, its trajectory is aligned to the ecliptic plane, which is very rare for interstellar objects or comets. Now, what does that mean? It means that it will pass by Mars, well, it has already passed by Mars, the Sun, Earth, and Jupiter at the exact correct distance, not to be affected by its gravitational pull and not bumping into anything. Okay? Number 9, 3I Atlas's arrival direction was also within 9 degrees from where the wow signal came in. Now the chances of that is something like 0.5 or 0.6% likelihood. I mean, we all know how huge the universe is. I mean, imagine. Number 10. The jets from 3i are often pointed at the sun, whereas the tail of a comet would be behind the object and pointing away from the sun. Number 11. It has a very high velocity, sometimes moving as fast as 60 kilometers per second. Now, I can't remember the 12th thing, but it does not really matter. Well, you know, they say, if it quacks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it's likely a duck. But this does not look like a comet. It does not behave like a comet. It's bigger than a comet, and it does not have the same composition as a comet. So I put it to you, it is not a comet. Now, I don't know what it is, but therefore I would rather, even as somebody who knows little to nothing about space, would rather call it an interstellar object, because we don't know what it is. So, before you guys laugh at me and think I'm a conspiracy nut, no, I do not necessarily believe that it is, say, an alien spaceship. Not yet. I haven't seen enough evidence to be able to say that. And I will even go so far as to say that it is unlikely that it is some kind of alien spaceship. But what really makes me angry is NASA dismissing any and every theory except that it is a comet. Now, that is a lie. No one, including China, really knows what exactly it is, and hopefully on the 19th of December we will find out, because then it will be closest to Earth. Until then, anyone and everyone can only speculate, including NASA. Now, I personally have a theory, though, and that pertains to those jets remaining straight, okay, and not bending to the solar wind, you know, etc., etc., and then often pointing at the sun instead of away from the sun. Now, what if the jets obviously come from the craft or the object, or then the core, and the spinning which everyone is seeing is some kind of magnet spinning or circling the object in order to create gravity inside the object? Or it could also be a magnetic outer core which is spinning while the inner core remains static or still. What do you think? I mean, we don't know, but that would make sense why the jets are straight. My other theory, or more of a question really, is whether 3i Atlas is somehow linked to all the anomalies in the sky, or then the increase of these anomalies. Just think about the New Jersey drones, of which some are not drones, and then it spread elsewhere, even to Europe, causing airports to shut down. There were also some of them seen over the ocean without a ship nearby from which a drone could be launched. Then there are those boom sounds coming from the sky. Other sounds like very loud foghorns. There were also more or many of these strange occurrences recently, and the worst of all, it appears as if our governments do not care to even find out what it is, which I personally think is a huge lie in itself. An unexplained object in the sky is indeed a security risk, and I don't think it can or will differentiate whether you are rich or poor, or young or old, or pink or blue. If there is something in the sky which could potentially be a danger, we would all be at risk, American politicians included. So yes, I think there is yet another big lie being buried. I wish I could shout it from the rooftops. You cannot give $45 billion to an organization which produced the quality of work that NASA did on 3I. It is ridiculous and laughable. And if it's all a lie, and they actually do have far more information, and they are just not telling the public, then they should all be fired. Because ultimately it is taxpayers' money paying them. Okay, let's just shortly hop on over to Charlie Kirk. I honestly don't know what to make of Candace Owens's revelations. I'll be honest with you, I do not think Tyler, whatever his surname is, killed Charlie. I think he thinks he did. I think he intended to go there with the mission to kill Charlie. And I think he did pull the trigger, but I think he missed. I think someone else with a different bullet shot Charlie. I think this was a professional hit and not a 22-year-old who did not go hunting or target shooting on a regular basis. There is something I also cannot figure out, and God alone knows I tried. I have also listened, and I've not heard a word from anyone else questioning this. So, maybe I'm wrong, but hear me out. From everything I have seen, the shooter was in front and from Charlie's vantage point to the right, or slightly to the right of Charlie. So if you are standing next to Charlie looking out over the crowd, he would be in front and to your right. Charlie also keels over to the left, but the wound in his neck is on the left side of his neck. So that doesn't make sense at all. If it was coming from the right, how can the wound be on the left side of his neck? Unless there was an exit wound. But according to what everyone is saying, there's no exit wound whatsoever. Now, how on earth is that possible? The gazebo Charlie was using is very similar to the one we have. The one we have is just, I think, a bit smaller. Ours is only 3 by 3, but never mind. I know from experience that if you are higher than the gazebo, you can't see the person underneath, and largely because of that edge over the framework. Yet Tyler did not shoot into the canvas. No, he managed to kill Charlie with one shot. Charlie sat fairly deep in, so I have no idea how far away Tyler needed to be able to see Charlie. But even so, it was by no means an easy shot as people try and make it out to be. And I am amazed that a novice could have carried out that deed. Well, like I said, I don't think he did, but I think he thinks he did. Now, will the truth come out? I doubt it. In my opinion, there was a political motive and likely carried out by professionals or a certain foreign entity. Okay, guys, well, that is enough for today. We'll be back to the Royals tomorrow. So until then, please take good care of yourselves. Bye.